Hello, and welcome to Mindful Mandala Magic. Thank you so much for joining me today. I invite you to follow me along as I create a mandala for a very special person in my life, my dad. He loves the forest. He loves the colors sea blue and forest green. Enjoy. Let's begin. So the first step with this mandala is making the circle on the outside. And I mark with my pencil every half centimeter. And I will make circles at those measurements with my pencil. Now you may be wondering why a penny is sitting in the middle of my paper, which is a good question. My compass is so sharp that if I tried to make it without it, it would cut right through. So I mentioned my dad loves the forest, and pine trees especially. His favorite smell in the whole world are pine trees. So I tried to make one, as you can see in black there, but I needed something with a little more texture. The black tree looked a little more like a sound wave than a tree. So here's me making a practice tree, which I was very happy with, especially once the green came in. So this was the tree I decided to go with. And as with a lot of mandalas that I make, I use alternating patterns. So there will be a total of 4 trees. Because I made 8 sections. And when you're making your own mandala, feel free to obviously make as many sections as you like. You could make 2, half and half, or 4. But with this one, there's 8. So 4 trees. Here we are. You'll notice that I drew the trunk in for the first 2 trees and then drew the leaves on. But I think it could look a little better if I added the leaves on first and drew the trunk blending into the tree itself. So you'll see that with the 3rd and 4th tree. Regardless, I'm very happy with how they're turning out. My dad has always been such a anchor for me. deeply rooted person for me. So it's fitting that I make trees on his mandala. I'd go camping with him and my 3 siblings when we were younger. And I remember smelling the pine trees for the first time. And he always mentioned it was his favorite smell was pine trees. If you have a chance and you're around pine trees, maybe you are now, depending on where you live, grab a few needles, rub them in your fingers and smell. It's so fresh. So like I mentioned earlier, you can see that I'm doing the leaves first, and then drawing in the trunk afterward. And when I'm making these trees, I try to follow a general pattern. No matter how hard I try, I can't make them identical. And you know what? That's okay. It doesn't need to be identical. I think that's why people making art will always have that special touch over something created by a computer. There's those tiny imperfections that make it more, I don't know what the word is for it. You can just identify with it a little more. It seems a little more welcoming. And there we have it, our 4 trees. I was debating leaving the sections off, but I think I like them in pen. And I'm making them a little bolder than just a straight line, which I always find gives the piece more character. Because mandalas are looked at closely, obviously, but if they're hung on a wall, the bold lines are what stand out. And that line I just filled in looked a little skinny, so I'm going to make that one a little thicker. There we go. And now that we've done the imprecise movement of the trees, I'm moving on to a checkerboard pattern, which is very much precise and geometric. Again, those are 1/2 centimeter divisions, but you can feel free to make them as big or as small as you like. Should you be doing your own mandala by any chance? And that's why I left the penny in the middle, just in case I have to come back to the compass, which I did. Because once that penny moves, it's hard to find that exact center that you had initially. I like the effect of a wave that this design makes. I'm basically drawing little bow ties, as you can see right there. And I'll fill those in with some colors later on. But for now, just making bow ties. was about as far as I got on day one, so I decided to lay down in the sun for a little bit and lounge. Feels good. It's nice to just sit and to do nothing. Day two, getting back into it. More bow ties. And the shape I'm moving into making now is a very classic mandala shape. Kind of looks like an old Indian temple kind of shape. I'm sure there's a name for it, but that's just what I call it. This work was very precise. Required a lot of little circles, little shapes, and then of course coloring it in. Today was a precise day, as it goes in life, right? Some days you can be a little more imprecise, and some days you must really focus. It's all about that balance. Giving yourself the time you need to relax, and giving yourself the space to create and to push. Now again, just like the trees, these little shapes won't look identical. And that's okay. You could see me there counting how many rows I had. Make sure I got up to 10. And if you're wondering what types of pens I'm using, they are Pilot gel pens. 1mm or 0.7mm will do just fine. Whenever I'm making a mandala, I'm not quite sure how it's going to look until it starts coming along. Even now, at this point, I'm not sure what the final product will be. But I always tell myself to trust the process. If I think it will look great, I keep going. I'll do a practice from here and there, but you can't practice practice the whole mandala. So I just keep on going. As we do. I must admit, I was pretty excited to be finished with this section, considering how precise it all was. That being said, I was rather satisfied with how it was turning out. Myself a little treat in adding some color after finishing that section. Alternating between blue and green, and for the next section, deciding that I just wanted to go green. Of course, back to the alternating. Sea blue, forest green, and a solid sea blue at the end. And then I was getting back into the precise work of this section. I decided to leave a little black and white. I don't like to add too much color. In fact, this is probably the most color I've ever added. Day 2, finished. Stretching out, taking some deep breaths, drinking some tea, enjoying the sunset. It feels good. It's always a good idea to take some nice, deep breaths. They say that 3 deep breaths can start to calm you down, regardless of the situation. Day 3. There wasn't a whole lot to do with day 3. But I knew I needed to put something in the middle. Seeing as my dad is an Irish American, I decided a shamrock would be great. Here's me testing if a blue border would look good. And it did. So I decided to go with that. mistake. But that's okay. Life is full of little mistakes. And that's okay. With all the forest, I wanted to add a little creek running through. So solid blue looked nice to me. No need for the pencil lines anymore. So away they go. This is another simple mandala shape. I don't really know what it's called, just little dots inside big dots, I guess. They look nice though. And speaking of bold lines from earlier, you'll see that this adds a little more boldness to the piece. Finishing touches. A little note to my dad. And there it is. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that process as much as I did. And I cannot wait to frame this and give it to my dad. I think he'll really enjoy it. For more mandalas, you can subscribe.